You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of lack of sight. A dimension of a collection of brain-dead minds. You crossed over into a land of shadows and zero substance, of things and ideas that go fucking nowhere, but they just keep throwing ideas at you. You crossed over into Don't Worry, Darling, directed by Olivia Wilde. This is her sophomore directorial feature, because Booksmart was her directorial debut. That's pretty much how sophomoric and, well, directorial debuts work. You usually have to go with the debut to get to the sophomoric effort. There have been good sophomoric efforts from directors, actors turned directors and whatever. This was written by 3 different people. 3 different people wrote this. Just want you to keep that in mind. Katie Silberman, who did Set Up, Isn't It Romantic, and Booksmart. Okay, director and writer of Booksmart. Okay. Booksmart wasn't that bad. I don't think it was great, but I think it had some wit about it, and it showed that Olivia Wilde, while being a pretty good actress on her own, not the best, but she was pretty good in House when she played the character of 13. And Cowboys and Aliens, she certainly was there. She looked great, and she's been in other stuff as well. She's not that bad. And then it was also written by Casper and Shane Van Dyke. The Van Dyke twins, or brothers, or whatever. I don't know. They could be conjoined twins. It might explain why they wrote movies such as Chernobyl Diaries and The Silence, 2 of which were 2 of the worst films of the last decade. The Silence was abysmal, and Chernobyl Diaries, good fucking God. It was from the director of Paranormal Activity. Let's talk about this. Florence Pugh's in this. Florence Pugh, who I fucking love. She was great. Great tortured soul in this. I know some people didn't love Midsommar. That's fine. It's okay for you to be wrong. I kid. I get why some people didn't like it. She was good in this as well. So was Saoirse Ronan. Check out See How They Run. You'll definitely enjoy it more than this. Maybe I'm tipping my hand a little bit too soon, but I was kind of excited to see this movie, even though the trailer looked like a hot mess times infinity. I was like, okay, Florence Pugh and some weird psychological horror thing going on, spoopiness. It could be good. It could be. I even tried to ignore the fact that this thing had a tremendous amount of backlash and a lot of seedy shit going on, apparently, as far as how it was filmed, backstage drama and all that, and even the fact that they were touring doing the media campaign to hype the film, and Florence Pugh didn't join. She either didn't join because she didn't want to be associated with it. She had a problem with the director, Olivia Wilde, maybe possibly lying to her. We will see. Time will tell. Or she was filming another movie. I'm not sure. I'm not here to throw stones, but I will say that apparently Olivia Wilde is not all that great with some of the people she associated with, Shia LaBeouf and others. But that's another story for another goddamn day. I just had to address the seedy shit about this. The thing is I also noticed the early reviews were not very kind. Now, I just took a look at the brief descriptions. I didn't let it color my opinion, but I was like, okay, one critic, 2 critic, 3, almost every fucking critic on Rotten Tomatoes that was registered was saying that. And there were other critics that were saying that this really isn't good. Like Florence Pugh tries, a couple of the other big actors try. But my God, be prepared, as Jeremy Irons once said as Scar. Be prepared. Yeah, I can't sing like him, obviously. So, what's the plot? It's an experimental community set in the 1950s in the middle of fucking nowhere where, well, Florence Pugh plays Alice. And she is there with her husband, Jack, played by Harry Styles. Harry Styles, if he sings as well as he acts and acts as well as he sings, he's not good at either of them. And man, he got a lot of fucking ridicule before anything beyond test audiences were able to see this. He got a lot of ridicule. It was all fucking deserved, I want to say. But Olivia Wilde is in this. Chris Pine is in this. Gemma Chen, who's fucking gorgeous. A lot of gorgeous women in this. And a lot of talented women. Gemma Chen's very good. Olivia Wilde has been good in a few things. She looks good, which is probably a good thing. Maybe she can ride that wave like Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot, however the fuck you say it is, and ride that because maybe acting isn't necessarily her strong suit. But you had Sidney Chandler. You had Nick Kroll. No, not Dave Grohl. Nick Kroll. Why would anybody make that confusion? More actors that are in this. Kate Berlant. Timothy Simmons. Dita Von Teese, who was fucking gorgeous. Good fucking God. Great pinup look there. And she was born in 1972. And looks like she was born in 1992. Good genetics. Get her and Jennifer Tilly in a movie. I don't care what. Get them in a horror movie. Have them be the final 2 women Kill everybody. Sign me the fuck up. Douglas Smith, Kiki Lane, and others. Other people were in this. Okay, so yeah, it's an experimental community where everybody's happy. The men go to work for this thing called the Victory Project, and the women stay at home. They're housewives, and they can charge this stuff. They can do whatever. They can live their lives of luxury, and all they can't do is go to where the men work. They have to be good, obedient wives. So take the Stepford wives, take the whole idea of 50s housewives feeling repressed, giving into hysteria, drinking a whole lot, and cavorting and having affairs with other women, which happened in the Hours. Sorry, spoiler, but the Hours has been out for 20 fucking years. And the idea that women have to be down here, even though women are championed and they're taken care of. Hell, in the case of Harry Styles and Florence Pugh, man, Harry Styles is just diving right into Florence's Pugh pod, as it were, and I don't fucking blame him. I mean, who wouldn't want to fucking do that? I mean, I know it's on film, but nevertheless. It's quite a bit of sex, quite a bit of weirdness, quite a bit of dream sequences, and quite a bit of fuck all else. This movie's ass. This movie deserves every bit of ridicule it's gotten. And I would argue that the critics weren't nearly harsh enough. This movie was fucking terrible. And I went in with the idea, you know what? I'm going to throw the critics' ideas, views, all that over here. Get the fuck out of here. You ever seen a man say goodbye to ideas? Once. Said goodbye to all my ideas. That's why I do videos like this. But nevertheless, threw that out. Threw out all the ideas that anybody critiqued this. And it's like, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to watch this. And within 15 minutes, I realized that they were right. And I'm going to get to the twist later. Just say that right now. But the twist is so goddamn obvious. I actually wrote down a few things. And lo and behold, the first thing that I wrote down is what it turned out to fucking be. And I'm disappointed. Because, yeah, I've seen a lot of movies. I can guess a lot of stuff. I mean, you could just guess that at some point. And also, some movies are predictable. But goddamn, the fact that it was the first fucking thing I wrote down, and it was actually dumber than what I wrote down, is saying something. So yes, Alice starts to suspect after one of her neighbors goes a little bit crazy that something is going on and that maybe this whole beautiful paradise isn't exactly what they think it is. That maybe it's something really, really seedy, really, really evil indeed. And that maybe Chris Pine's Frank is behind the whole thing. So if you can't guess where this fucking movie's going, you might actually have quite a bit of fun. If you've never seen the Stepford Wives, if you've never seen any Twilight Zone episode, or never even heard the music, or don't even know what the words Twilight and Zone mean, you still could fucking figure this out, actually, because every bit of it is cliched, predictable, and this, I was worried at first because it had a rumored runtime of 2.5 hours. And I'm like, how the fuck are they going to get 2.5 hours out of this goddamn thing? And then went to about an hour, or went to about 2 hours and 2 minutes. And I still don't understand why the fuck they made it that goddamn long, because they barely had enough material for 90 fucking minutes. And even then, they had to throw weird imagery and all this crazy stuff because we have to throw more weird shit in. And we also have to put Harry Styles in the movie. You could have put a piece of fucking driftwood and put hair on it, and it would have been better than Harry Styles. Would have been less wooden. Josh Hartnett in fucking 30 Days of Night was less wooden. He was less wooden in Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor, the movie that literally had the Japanese people, the generals pushing around toy boats, figuring out the invasion. That's how it fucking worked, Michael Bay. Let's get back to Don't Worry, Darling. Don't worry, darling. This movie is absolute goddamn shit. 100% grade A bullshit. Now, it looks great. Cinematography is quite good. Acting's terrible. Florence tries her hardest, but she either just didn't give a shit or the script was so goddamn bad it made her talents just go by the wayside. Gemma Chan, all these others, people are trying in this. They are trying to make sense of this fucking material written by, again, two of the writers that did Chernobyl Diaries and The Silence. Two of the worst written, worst directed movies of last decade. Why are the Van Dykes allowed to continue to fucking write? They clearly don't have any fucking talent for it. Well, they have a talent to continue to get jobs and get bullshit, printed out. And that's pretty much it. Or printed out, filmed out, whatever. And Olivia Wilde might want to take a hard look in the mirror and figure out who she associates with. And, I don't know, maybe figure out how to direct a movie that isn't so goddamn generic and painful and bad in every fucking conceivable way. This is one of the worst movies of the year. Top 10 easily. This is the 135th movie I have seen released this year. And this is top 10. I am baffled that this got fucking made. And they had vintage cars, they had great cinematography, it was a beautiful looking paradise. There was some good shit, obviously there was going to be some weird shit going on. And the weird shit actually turned out to be not even bonkers, it just turned out to be like really stupid, where you're like, oh, wow, my ideas were even dumb, or, weren't even as dumb as this. Maybe I should hit myself in the head a few times, like everybody involved in producing this was, and that maybe I can come up with bad ideas too and get something released in theaters. The Montes look great. Look fucking great. God, that champagne glass looked good. Anyway, Florence Pugh, everybody tries, except Harry Styles. Harry Styles deserves to be slapped repeatedly. Slapped around because he can't act. And he can't sing either. This is the story of his life. And if you get it, you fucking God. Oh. So yeah, let's get into fucking spoilers. It's in theaters if you want to check it out. 3, 2, 1. Fair warning, spoilers. It's all a fucking computer simulation. Because people just want to dive into the goddamn Matrix, or a variation of the Matrix and everything, and that's all it is. Jack wanted Alice to stop working as much because she was working like 18 hours out of the day, doing surgery, being a doctor and everything. So that's why he decided to put her in this computer simulation. At one point, she goes to the goddamn mountain, puts her hand on the goddamn weird gazebo thing, and then freaks out, and then is suddenly back home because it turns out that she almost broke out of the system. And Jack couldn't have that. Nor could he have any acting ability. Nor could he have any acting chops. Nor could he spell acting. Harry Styles deserves to be banned from Hollywood for what he fucking did here. And Florence Pugh should sue the goddamn studio for making her look bad. Good fucking grief. God damn it, Olivia Wilde. Why did you have to make a movie so goddamn bad? Computer simulation, that's what it is. Olivia Wilde had 2 kids that died in the real world, but it stopped hassling her, or wouldn't stop hassling her, as Rob Thomas once said, and she said, fuck it, I'm going to go into a simulation where my kids are alive. And then other people can do weird shit and do this stuff. And then Florence Pugh breaks out, and then that's the end of the movie. That's it. There is nothing else to this. I am honestly astonished that this movie lasted 2 hours and 2 minutes. Fuck everybody involved in this except Florence Pugh. Well, except the women. The women tried. Chris Pine just loves to torpedo his own goddamn career, and he actually has talent. Yeah, F. It gets a fucking F. This is bottom of the barrel bullshit. Really, really fucking bad. So, agree, disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritland. Fuck Olivia Wilde. Fuck the Van Dyke brothers for making this. Fuck everybody for producing this. You should have walked out and you should have burned every copy of the film to the goddamn ground. Anyway, see you soon.